Hi, welcome to sugarturntable.com. Today we're going to be decorating a cake, and this is the cake that we're going to be decorating. It's a two-tier cake, and we're going to be incorporating polka dots and stripes, which are pretty popular right now, and is useful for many different occasions like baby showers or birthdays. The options are limitless. What you will need is a rolling pin to roll out the fondant, and you'll also want to have two different colored fondants that you're going to want to use for your cake. I'm going to be using a kind of chartreuse and a purple, and we're going to be using a black fondant, a little bit of black fondant as well in this, and it will be going onto a two-tier just plain white cake. You will also want something to cut the fondant. You could use a sharp knife or a pizza cutter, or you could use a tool, a fondant tool that's actually designed for fondant. But any of those will work, and you will also want some circle cutouts. The circle cutouts that you can buy at most craft stores. You can use cookie cutter circles or cake cutting circles. We'll also want a little bit of water and a brush, or you can use your finger instead of a brush. And you'll want plenty of cornstarch, and of course you'll need your two tiers. And the tiers we'll be using today are an 8-inch and a 6-inch tier. We are going to start with the top 6-inch tier, and we're going to be doing our circles on that. So in order to do that, we're going to start with our fondant. You want to take a little bit of it and make sure your surface is dusted with enough cornstarch. And we're going to roll this out. And you want to roll it out as thin as possible and still relatively easy to work with. So make sure you get cornstarch on your rolling pin. And we're going to roll this out. You're going to want to make sure it's a pretty even consistency. And again, it's going to be much thinner than the fondant that we roll out on the cake, on the tier. For decoration, if the fondant's real thick, it just looks clunky and doesn't look as professional when you lay the fondant on very thickly. You want to make sure it's nice and thin. So you're going to have two size circles. You're going to have a smaller circle that fits inside a slightly larger circle. I'm going to be doing the hollow circles on that design in the chartreuse. So I'm going to take the larger circle and I'm just going to punch out just a bunch of circles. Now after you cut out the circles, you'll want to smooth the edges down so there's no rough edges. So you just kind of run your finger along the edge there, and you just want to get rid of any rough edges that there are. Okay, so now you should have a bunch of circles, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to punch out another circle in the middle of the circle you just punched out, so that circle is actually hollow. And you want it to be as centered as possible. Now you'll want to cover those, you want to cover up these hollow circles that we've made, and you'll want to set them aside, cover them up so they don't crack, and you're going to start rolling out some of your purple fondant, or whatever color fondant you decide to work with. And again, remember that you want it thin. So once you get that rolled out to the desired consistency, you're going to want to cut out the inner circle shape out of the purple. So as we start, we've got our inner circles and our outer circles. And you'll want some water, and you'll want a brush of some sort, or you can use your fingertip. Even a Q-tip can work. Obviously, unused Q-tip, that's really disgusting. Now, the thing about fondant is if it's just a little moist, it will adhere to other fondant and it will cement it together. So you don't even need to use royal icing, just a little bit of water to get this fondant on. So you're going to take one of your outer circles and very lightly brush an outer circle with a little bit of water. And you're going to line it up with the bottom, and you're just gently going to press it to the cake. And when you're done with that, you're going to take one of the inner circles, brush that with a little bit of water, and just above that one, affix it to the cake. Attach it to the cake. Take another one of your outer circles, brush a little bit of water on it, and then above that one, attach it to the cake. Now, if you want to get it pressed onto the cake pretty evenly and smoothly, you can use a fondant smoother. Now you're going to want to do the same thing, but you're going to change the pattern so it's the opposite. So you'll have one of the hollow circles in the middle this time. And don't get your circles too wet. They don't need to be too wet.